This description of the use of similes. We believe that the similes in the poem Dream Deferred is supposed to be used as contrast to give the purpose a larger effect, as when Hughes wrote, "Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run?" He gives us, the readers, two options, which metaphorical could happen to a dream that has been postponed or forgotten. By giving us these examples, his words triggers a wondering in our minds. This use of simile devices is employed to emerge the effect of these words. Description of use of personification. We see the whole poem as a concept of human characteristics. It is vital that it is to reference to our persona, otherwise the poem's purpose wouldn't matter. Every simile and contrast in the poem is meant to affect us. The poem is for us a reminder of dreams that we may have misplaced or lost. That is an example of how the poem can connect to us. Description of the connotations that the similes and personifications triggers. The key words that is used as contrast, similes, or personifications could trigger thoughts that could relate to other occasions that they might have been under. Devising these thoughts could give us a better understanding of why Langston wrote this poem in the beginning. As for an example, the dream that has been postponed could relate to the dream of equality between the black Americans and the white Americans. The saw that rankles could reference to the agony the people must have felt throughout the years of segregation.
The similes in the poem ends on a result of a good idea, giving a good sense of one relating to the poem as a simile is a descriptive set of words. Hughes is very aware of his use of metaphors in the poem to describe the life of African Americans. In the time of the Harlem Renaissance, African Americans had no way to communicate their dissatisfaction to the world, other than through art forms like poetry, music, and paintings. Hughes was one of the leading writers to do that. The poem is very dark and full of sorrow. When describing how a dream is deferred, he is saying, "Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun?" That is a description of the black slaves working in the fields, because a raisin is black, and by that meaning it is a metaphor of the African Americans. The whole poem is a description of the history of the African Americans. The poem tells the depressing history of the African Americans in the USA, how they were forced to do the dirty work of the white man. Hughes was starting a revolution to free the slaves in America. It's funny because when you think about USA, you always think about how democratic and how liberty and freedom to do whatever you want is imprinted in their culture. Needless, has America treated a big part of the population badly. The 5 words we have chosen is fester, randle, which means randle, sore, which means aching, sags, which means sink or crumple, crushed, which means coating, and deferred, which means postponed. We have chosen these words because we think that in the poem they have a great meaning. We think it's the 5 words you noticed at first and are the most meaningful in the poem.